Doing it for the love, so now I'm doing what I want. I did it for the love of the shit. Doing it for the love, so now I'm doing what I want.
Wow, that was quick. We're live. Half-court heat, man. I wasn't even expecting that. I forgot it was only 10 seconds, but we are back. Half-court heat. What a way debut, man. It's been a minute. We all got things going on, which is great, but we were waiting for that special time, that episode, to be able to debut. And what a hell of a game by Mr. James Harden himself. We're going to get right into that. Sixers went big. They score 133, which was huge. Tony Jigsaw Cotillo, Andre Johnson, Al Griffin back in the spot, talking Sixers for the rest of the second half of the season, which is going to be extremely fun. Andre, listen, man, it's been a while since we've been behind the microphone together. Man, is this everything you expected from James Harden tonight?
Yeah, I mean, why not expect that? Listen, we've seen it from James Harden almost his whole career, and he was on the other side doing it to us. So now he's on our team, and we knew what we were getting when we got him. I mean, listen, the guy is phenomenal. And it's a beautiful thing to have two All-Stars back on your team. It's everything we expected. And you know what? It's everything we expected and more, because he seems comfortable on the floor. And I'm just watching the other guys who've been playing together all season long. With the addition of James Harden, they just seem like they're just so much more comfortable. So I'm loving the fact that they're vibing off him. He's playing off of them, and no one seems kind of out of pocket. Kind of a tough game. I know we talk about James Harden, but kind of a tough game for Tobias, because he seemed like he was a little lost here and there. But when the game is flowing like that and it's exciting, you kind of don't care in a way, right? It's like we just want to just smash the team and keep the foot on the gas and just go ahead and pull the victory out. But James Harden came out first score and one. Come on. And one, and obviously, and he sinks the free throw. Come on. You got to sink the free throw after you get the and one for your first points as a 76er. So everything we expected, James Harden, kudos, Sixers, big W. Listen, the Timberwolves are not a pushover team. They just won last night in the comeback and come from behind victory. And then today, they, it started off a little slow, but it seemed like, hey, James Harden is here, man. He's here, and he's balling, and it's everything. Right? Sixers Twitter was going nuts. I couldn't keep up, so I was just like, "Yo," I just couldn't wait for half-court heat and get on with you guys, and let's have a great show. James Harden is here.
Yeah, that's a good way. He's here. He's here to stay. And it's going to be one wild ride, Al. It's going to be one wild ride. I mean, we were talking about this Tuesday. You nailed the assist. We talked about that. Talked about how much he was going to move the ball. I mean, the movement of the ball, even when James wasn't there, even when he was on the bench, the movement of the ball was crazy. And it's something that they're going to progress on for the rest of the season.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I talked about that on Tuesday, that I'm expecting 12. Like, stop it. I mean, I could see a 20 assist night from him, the way he's going to start moving the ball. I mean, he's just toying. We ain't even playing to our full potential yet. Imagine when everybody gets in the right spots, when you know where to be, when he ain't got to tell you next time, to slide over to the corner a little bit more so he can hit you with that pocket pass. I mean, he hit one with a no looks to Maxey, where at first you see a full length of the court, and you're like, why didn't he get it to him? And 2 seconds later, boom, it's right to Maxey, and as Maxey's getting ready to lay it up. I mean, it was a perfect pass. Those things are just going to be so simple. We had 23 fast break points tonight, 23, and it was effortless. Those are the things that we miss, not having a pure point guard on the floor. It's just going to make everybody it's just going to make it easier for everybody. You hear JoJo after the game, he like, I never had such easy points in my life. What's going on here? Like, that's what it's going to be. that's what it's going to be. I mean, I can't wait, man. I'm just looking for more and more games to get more and more excited about this.
Listen, there's going to be a lot. Nikki Nuts second in says, hell yes, absolutely. Man, Foods, what's good? What's up, boys? As always, Vinny checking in. Guys, for the first time in 5 years, the court isn't tilted. It's beautiful. It's right, man. I mean, listen, this is the one thing I will say is I was looking forward to see if Doc was going to be man of his word, because you heard him come out and he said that at all times, two to three guys are going to be on the field or on the court together. And that was going to be whether it be Embiid in Maxey, whether it be Maxey Harden, or it was going to be Harden, right? So it is amazing that he actually stuck to that, which I was surprised. And so obviously the game got out of hand, but I was actually really I like that Matisse was starting tonight. I know there's been a lot of, is it going to be maybe Maxey starts on the second team? Is it going to be the minivan? Is it going to be Danny Green? Who's going to be? I think, this is only going to help Andre, in my opinion. It's going to help Matisse's confidence. It's going to give him some open looks and some easy shots, which is going to help his confidence even more. So what did you think about him starting tonight?
I think Thibault starting was very important. First of all, it balances the floor. You got a couple bona fide scorers, and obviously Joel, Harden, and Maxey. But what makes it even better is that you got tough nails decent defensive guys in Matisse and Tobias. So it has to balance out the starting five, because most of Matisse's points were easy too. Listen, the dunk right at the half, the putback dunk at the half. Listen, no one was boxing him out. So he's like, I might as well just go in and catch your body in there, right? Just jump up, bang, in the half. But what we can't forget is we know Matisse for his defense, right? So Matisse starting is awesome because like I said, it bounces on the starting five. But what we cannot forget, when Matisse first got here, his offensive game was proven in a sense where we're like, oh, this guy can put up points, right? But I believe that his defensive prowess is what made the Sixers get a lot of extra points. I mean, a lot of those steals and all-ball defense and transition defense, that all was either Tyrese Maxey that started out or Matisse Thybulle. So Matisse starting is the perfect piece, because when everyone's thinking offense, he's always defense first. And that's what makes that balances out that starting five. So him starting is a beautiful thing. I'm just glad he was starting over Danny Green, because we see tonight Danny Green is like, how you feel about Danny, Tony? Since the first half-court Heat show, is the Uber still filled up? We're not going negative tonight. We're definitely
all positive.
Now wait a minute, though. I do gotta say something, because you brought it up. And this has hold on. This has nothing to do with tonight's game.
Nothing.
Oh, no, nothing. But I still will Uber him out specifically because, again, he changed his stripes. So one thing I've always said, I breathe myself on being transparent and authentic. Listen, Danny, if you want to stick up for Ben, that was fine. You don't come out after he's gone now and turn the other cheek, right? Like, turn on the other side. You can't do that, Danny. You can't. So either you want to play in Philly or you want to go to Brooklyn with Ben. It's up to you. I mean, you got to pick a side here, because that's what's killing me, man. That, Andre, you brought it up. Now you got me all heated up.
Yes, all right.
Now it's all about Danny Green. All right. Vinny checking in says Joel is a pick and pop guy. Matisse is the lob guy in this offense. It's beautiful. Listen, I completely agree. My man Yojo, what's up, buddy? Checking in. Harden and Embiid space. He's going to allow Maxey to penetrate for two, or the kick out. Didn't Embiid have an extra gear flashing through the paint tonight? You know what? He's right. I mean, honestly, Al, I seen a different, I wouldn't say completely different style from Embiid, but I seen a different gear tonight. Usually he sits out, he does that like real herky jerky roll with the dribble. He was either get and go, stop and shoot. He was one of the two. So I mean, obviously this is because of the spacing on the floor. This is because of James Harden specifically, right?
Absolutely. He's going to make everybody comfortable on the floor. I see a couple little small things that's just going to improve game after game. I think Tobias, right? He hit a catch and shoot 3, and I tweeted right after it because that's what we need. Those catch and shoot 3s from him, Danny Green, Thibault if it swings to him, Maxey. Those you gotta catch and shoot those, and he's still hesitating. So it's fine. He'll get more comfortable, and I'm not worrying about this game. And you'll get some morons that say, "Oh, well, he didn't do anything." He doesn't have to do anything. When you score 133, please don't have anybody complain. Please. So it's going to be some games where Harden may not do 20-something. Maybe he only has 15, and then Harris has 20-something that game. So it's going to move around. Those numbers are going to fluctuate, but everybody just has to get in the catch-and-shoot mode, ready to move the ball, or either catch and shoot or move the ball, and this offense is going to be very good.
Very good. And very efficient.
It's one thing about, excuse me, Tony, it's one thing about Tobias that that kind of stuck out to me because, one, he played 30 minutes tonight, right? And the other thing is he really made it tough. That's why, like you said, we can't be negative about Tobias, but he made it very, very tough and kind of crammed the paint on defense. So when Minnesota was getting the ball, their paint was too crowded. It was a lot of times in the game where Tobias was like enforcing his strength on the smaller forward. And it wore him out. Because just think about this for a second. When the game started, the first couple possessions, they were getting Minnesota in foul trouble like early. Like the first couple of points was right from the line. So they set the tone. The Sixers set the tone. Obviously, the first points Minnesota got was on a and 1-3. But then the Sixers never looked back after that. So it's like you score 4 points on us, but we go back. But we got Tobias that's literally imposing his will physically. And, he played 30 minutes. So it's not like he was in and out, cold, hot. He wasn't. He played 30 minutes. And I think his biggest impact was wearing those guys down in the paint. Like, so we can't discount that that's part of the game.
Right.
That's 100% part of the game. And speaking of minutes, this guy had a debut and led all scorers in minutes. He had like 34 minutes tonight. He played 34 minutes tonight. So
and people were worried.
Worried about what? What are you worried about?
Actually, 35. I'm looking at it. So you had
30, what are you worried for? Listen, 35 hard minutes is not 35 minutes and you blowing a team out 133 to 102.
Right.
See, it's a big difference. You didn't go into double overtime and you played 35 minutes and you're wore out and you can't figure it out. You don't even, your legs ain't moving, your body. It's not that type of game. This type of game was won by being physical and on defense. Yes, we got 3 scores with 20 plus points. The bench showed out. The bench actually came in and almost everybody scored. But what I loved was the first 16 points of the game, all 5 starters scored.
Right.
So, how much more balance did you need?
Exactly.
And it set the tone. It set the tone for the rest of the game. So I thought
it did. It did. It really did. It was nice to see that they already had some cohesion together already. It was nice to see that, listen, I know it's the first game. It's all roses right now, right? And there's going to be things that happen. We all know that. But, you just said 3 guys with 20 points. The crazy thing is we have a lineup now, and as much as I can't stand Tobias, maybe in this role, he actually could be the 4th option on this team now with Maxey stepping up to that 3rd option. So you have 4 guys that can go 20 plus on any given night, 2 guys that can go 30 plus on any given night. And now we finally have those guys. And you guys remember when we first started half court heat, the biggest thing I know me personally was Danny Green, too many minutes. Seth Curry, too many minutes. And now Seth isn't here anymore, but now you're bringing guys off the bench where they belong, not guys that are playing starter minutes that are role players. And I think that's huge. And one guy specifically, Al, I know I mentioned this guy. You mentioned this guy. I'm sure Andre did as well. But listen, Paul Millsap is going to be no slouch on his team if he can give you 7 to 12 solid minutes. And that's what he can do. He showed you that tonight. He can still score, he can still rebound, and he can still play decent defense. Or you know what I mean now?
Absolutely. I like him. You could do that against a small team. Minnesota doesn't have any height in there that you really worrying about. Against the small teams, you could get away with Millsap playing the 5, just like you could do minivan at the 5 some minutes for here and there. So you can use him. I like the aggressiveness. He's not hesitating on his shot. He's looking to post up. One drive, he drove all the way to the basket. I have no idea how it wasn't a foul or a goaltend or something. Doc was going crazy over there on the sideline. I don't know how they didn't get a call there either. But I like how he's not trying to defer to other people. Obviously, Doc told him, once you get in there, I want you to be aggressive. Shoot your shot. Post somebody up. Do your thing, and that's what he's doing. So I like that. So I like that. Just gives us another aspect. If he could give us 4 5s, maybe 7 points in the game, that's points that we didn't have out of that position. So I'm good with it. What you think, Dre?
No, I like Millsap because the trade was almost perfect. You got James Harden, which is all-star. We already know what he brings, but you brought a savvy big man in. And a veteran big man that's not just going to give you good minutes, like Tony alluded to. I mean, he played 12 minutes tonight, but he was doing veteran things on the floor when you need it at times where Minnesota could have easily started making a comeback. I mean, they're known for that. One of the things that I heard tonight was really wild. I didn't know until I looked it up. Minnesota attempts more threes than anybody in the league.
I heard that too. I didn't know that either.
I'm like, and which then I looked at their record and looked at a few teams that they played that they had to come back from, and they rely on a 3. So, when you have a veteran guy in there, I don't think that. I think the comeback happens much easier if veterans weren't in there. If you get what I'm saying, because. If you don't have guys like Millsap and we still had Tobias in there. Tobias was in there as well. But Minnesota makes that comeback a little more a little more easier. But we just kept fending them off, and we had too much speed for them too. I mean, we were way too fast in transition. I mean, Maxey had 3 steals himself. Yeah. So we fast break points, transition defense. There was a couple of times Doc got on the team by not getting back, and the guy was wide open hitting a 3. Right. But overall, the game was darn near flawless.
Right.
And it was fun to watch. It was just fun to watch. So back to Millsap, I just think that it was good to grab a veteran big man with this combination of players, because we got B-Ball Paul still on the bench. We got obviously Paul Reed on the bench. We have the new kid that came in that I thought was pretty cool. Cooley's here. So and not to mention every player on the Sixers got in tonight.
Right.
Yeah,
I can't tell you when the last time that happened. Every player on the entire roster saw the floor tonight.
Yeah, that's right. And, that's key.
Yeah, every player.
Yep.
So, when was the last time that happened?
That's funny.
On any team.
Vinny checking it said Maxey looked like Sonic the Hedgehog out there. He was a player. I'll tell you, man. Vinny, he has got the quickest first step I've ever seen, man. It is unreal. Unreal. Rich checking it says Harden sees the court so well, especially finishing in B. It's amazing. Joe says more catch and shoot opportunities to Tobias have to dribble, please. Which I agree with that. Points will move between those three: Embiid, Harden, and Harris. Obviously, Dan old school checking in says can't have Green and Millsap in together. That's interesting. I mean, you have to. I think so. Here's how I ask you about that. I agree with it, but I still think there's more moves coming. I still think that there's another buyout that'll be in here. There's no way this is a finished product, right? It's just not a finished product.
We only got 3 days though. You only got 3 days to get that before March 1st. If it's not in there before March 1st, they can't play on the playoff roster. So
Right.
if something is going, it's got to happen in the next 2 days. I doubt if they wait to the last day to do it.
Yeah, I just don't see. And again, this is no disrespect to Millsap, no disrespect to B-ball Paul, but I'd be more than happy with a more established veteran big man to be backing up Joel. That's just my opinion. I think whether that's out there or not, I'm not sure. I guess time will tell, but it's definitely not a finished product. I'll tell you what, I still like the young boy, man. Like I remember when they were talking about the trade and they were talking about going back and forth and they, had the all pieces together and they start mentioning Isaiah Joe. I'm an Isaiah Joe fan. I really am. I think that he could be a sharpshooter off the bench. I'd rather have him shooting the ball eventually than Cork. I think Cork's a liability. I think Joe can at least give you a little more athleticism and a little more defense as well. So I'm glad they were able to keep up on with him. Al, you got your boy Chris checking in, says how's Nang go from the minivan go from fourth behind Thibault, Fork, Millsap, then the Yank. Listen, here's what I'll say, Al, and I'll let you answer. But everybody's got to slow the minivan down a little bit, right? He is who he is, right? He's another guy. He is who he is, and I'll tell you what we talked about, and this going. I know people are gonna laugh, but I don't know why my mind thinks like this. But we've had some players and some athletes in this town that got a lot of junk in the trunk. They got some big butts, dude. And George Niang, he is carrying that thing down the court, man. So the minivan has got to chill a little bit, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm watching. I'm like, wow, man, this dude's got a lot going on, like Fergie back there. But
it's a boy, Al.
It's true though, man. So
he uses it wisely though. Sometimes in that post, he uses it wisely. Just like why you think the girl chucked the round mound the rebound? It's not because his head.
Listen, I just call it the way I see it. What can I say?
I like Niang though, man. I like Niang.
Listen. He's scrappy
for what he is. For what he is.
I agree. I mean, he throws up some bricks. Yeah. He makes some shots. You got to, give or take. You got to pick your poison with Niang. You know what I mean? He's good for some fouls. He's good for some gritty kind of, kind of like what was that? Was it Dellavedova?
Yeah.
Kind of like that kind of gritty style player. You know what I mean? So he definitely has a role. Trevor checking in from South Florida, the Odyssey man. What's up, Trev? As always, he says, did Niang get butt implants from Miami? I don't think he did, Trev. I think he was always poor with him, man. I'm just telling you. Man, he give Antonio Bastardo a run for his money. But Chris, hey, here you go. So answer you guys this good question. Chris checking in says, also, what do you think about my man Cauley Stein? So Cauley Stein signs a 10-day deal. I don't know, Dre. What do you think? Do you think this is something that sticks, or do you think it's just something to wait to see if something comes about in the next 2 or 3 days?
Nah, unfortunately, I think it's something that's going to probably come about in the next couple of days. I mean, even the feel of how Doc put him in. I mean, like I said, he played 4 minutes tonight total. I actually thought he was going to get in earlier when the Sixers were up 20. I thought he was going to get in with the rotation to spell a couple guys so they can get some, get some Gatorade in them, get their win back. But I just thought it was really interesting how that Doc didn't put him in until the end when it was, and it was already decided. So a lot of times, in just the nature of the NBA, like you're brought in as a piece, to another plan, and and that's nothing to take away from his athleticism, his ability. Obviously, he's in the NBA. I mean, the guy is in the NBA. So the bottom line is, I think that 10-day was to set up a few other things. So just like we mentioned, you have until March 1st to be able to do any type of acquisition to be on the playoff roster. However, I don't think he hangs around. I don't think he hangs around. I don't think he takes the same Paul Reed route, because when we knew that Paul Reed was here to stay when he came up, we knew that he's part of the franchise, Delaware Blue Coats, the Philadelphia 76ers, but then he got on the court and proved that he deserves to be here. We barely know this guy, and his name came out of the blue. So it made
just a very interesting pickup altogether. I didn't understand it anyway. It's very interesting. He's mediocre at best. Somebody asked me about him on Twitter the other day. I was like, dude, he's mediocre at best. I expected Cancer, Freedom, as his new name is. I'm thinking like that type of guy. That's what I was looking for. He's going to give you hard fouls. He's going to grab some rebounds. He can shoot a little bit. He's not going to throw the ball away. He's a veteran. That's what I'm thinking about. But they didn't go that route, because I would start, if they would want to do that, they would have did that a week ago. So I don't think it's them. So now I have no idea what we're going to do. And it's not as many buyout people out there as I thought it was going to be. Not many. It didn't happen yet. So I don't know what's going on, but I don't know if it's going to be as much movement as everybody thought it was going to be.
I think there's a couple.
But the biggest reason why I don't think he's going to hang around, though, is just think about how this team is constructed. Like, what I'm really loving is with the whole James Harden acquisition is those other guys, their production is going to drop a little, right? Because there's going to be more offense, obviously, with Harden, Maxey, and Embiid. But those guys have been there, and we know what they can do. We know what their abilities are. We know Korkmaz can give you some points off the bench and some good minutes. We know that, like you said, we talked about Isaiah Joe. We know that Harden and Maxey both can play the point, because, Al, I think you and I were going back and forth on Twitter a little bit about if Maxey, we finally got somebody that can run the offense if Harden is sitting on the bench.
Right.
And we're confident with him. We're confident with him. Like, we're not like, oh, man, here we go. Hopefully they score, Yeah. Hopefully they keep scoring. But when they're both in there, it really offsets the defense. It doesn't matter who they're playing against. You got a speedy point guard, and you got a real methodical, strategic chess player point guard that nobody really. It's hard to defend both at the same time. And when they both were on the court, they kept saying, "Oh, we didn't know how they were going to play together. We didn't know like who was going to step up, we didn't know who's going to do most of the scoring." Well, they showed you. Harden is who he is, and Maxey is who he is, and it was enough points to go around. So to your point earlier, Tony, yeah, we may not score 133 every night, but we're definitely going to have an uptick on our average scoring per game. So it's inevitable that we're on the second half of the season, and the pendulum is going to swing to more wins and more W's. I just think that this team that's constructed now is going to be extremely exciting when we play against the Chicagos and the Milwaukee Bucks again with the Harden. With Harden, because obviously we just beat them last week or the week before the All-Star break. I think it was the last game before the All-Star break. Now we have Harden. Let's go. Let's do it. I think we played on March 10th. That's marked on the count. No, the Nets is March 10th.
Yeah.
I believe we play Milwaukee. I believe the 14th or something like that.
No, it's actually I'm going to that game. It's the 26th.
Oh, okay.
So
it's marked off on the calendar.
It's marked off. I can't wait for that game.
I'm looking at the schedule right now. We got New York back to back, home and home. But next Friday is Cleveland And then back-to-back games, we play Miami. That is going to be a nice test. Back-to-back games against good teams that's going to be in the playoffs. I want to see how we play against them teams, especially Miami. You know, Miami looking for us after we went to MIA and took care of business. You know, those boys was a little upset about that.
Well, I think here's what I'll say too. The game aside, but what this trade does, and I think people are losing focus that Joel Embiid played a ton of minutes in the first half of the season, and unlike what we're normally used to, and I'll tell you what, he looks phenomenal. It looks like he absolutely matured. Fatherhood will do that to you, right? He matured. He listened. He worked out. He got himself together. But I think the biggest thing about this trade, too, that's being overlooked is you may not see Joel play in some back-to-back games now because they know that they have an opportunity to rest him a little bit more down the stretch. Maybe those 35-minute games become 25-minute games. Maybe a few back-to-backs. He stops, and they have that luxury now, which is fantastic because that's only going to help him. I mean, Jay, you said right before we got on the show, James Harden scored. How many points did James Harden have tonight?
He had 27 tonight.
And he only shot 7. He
only made shot 12, but he only made 7 shots.
Right, 27, 12, and 8. On his first game in how long has it been since he even got on the court? Hasn't it been over a month and a half, something like that? Something around there, combined All-Star break and in New York, and 27, 12, and 8, like you've been playing for the last 3 weeks or something, like crazy.
And not only that, I mean, just think about it, guys. Not only that, he played 35 minutes.
Yes.
Like for somebody who hasn't, you know how they say, "Oh, we're gonna, make sure he doesn't play that many minutes." He played more minutes than anybody on the court.
Yes.
I guess it's like, well, he was fresh.
That's what's
apparently that hamstring is really healed.
Yeah, exactly. And, that's the other thing.
It's not a problem.
It's not a problem.
No, it's definitely not a problem. I think we all knew that.
Yeah.
We all knew that, right?
His 3-point attempt.
I mean, here you go, right here. I mean,
Joel,
you could definitely see. I mean, this is just, this is only a couple shots of the team. It's the ball movement, right, that we were talking about, right? I mean, there's a minivan. Everybody happy the minivan got in, right? Little turnaround, right? So that's okay. But Joe on Cat. I mean, look at that movement, right? That's what's key.
You got to make those shots when it swing to you. You got to be ready to shoot and bury it. That's going to be the only problem. So if you're in that swing and it's a momentum change, and say we need that basket to go back up to keep the momentum, or somebody's coming back on us, we got to hit those. So it's going to be there. It's not even a question. Is it going to be there? You just got to make it. So whether it's Niang, whether it's Green, whether it's Korkmaz, whoever's in that corner to swing to or at the top of the key has got to bury it.
No, you're right. Hey, wait. Speaking of corners, I mean, like, how many times are we going to see this?
kicking a hard
you can't.
And it's on our side.
Exactly.
It's on our side. We would have seen. We've seen Kawhi hit that. We've seen James Harden hit that. We've seen what's the boy's name? Drew Holiday hit that shot. Middleton hit that shot on us. Now this guy's on our team and he's hitting the shot for us, and that's a big difference. That's a big difference.
I believe he's on our team, man. I'm still in sticker shock. Like, I can't believe that James Harden as a Philadelphia 76er, and he just got finished playing his first game, man.
Yeah, it's a great thing because this. And here's what's even more beautiful. I mean, the season was already somewhat exciting to begin with. I mean, we knew that we had to make a move. We knew that we were second round exit at best. Or maybe the finals. Because remember, we kept saying in the beginning of the season, this finals or bust, right? It's finals or bust. We can't. So it's good that management and the leadership team at the Philadelphia 76ers, it's good that they feel the same way that the fans feel. We have to make a trade. We couldn't, if we'd have went out and got a Buddy Hield or somebody and no offense to Buddy Hield, but you know what I mean. We needed a superstar to get us to the finals. We didn't need just another good player. Right. We needed somebody that's going to move the needle and move it big time. Because now we're not even second round of the playoffs and exit. We are a legitimate finals team. Legitimate.
Yes.
And I don't care what other team is out there. You have the most dominant big man in the game right now, in Joel Embiid. And you have one of the most lethal, prolific scorers in the NBA. And then you got a young guy who goes 100 miles an hour, and no one in the league is faster than Maxey. Listen, no one.
Like a bullet.
No one. And you know what? And I said it on Twitter. I was like, yo, argue with somebody you don't like. Max, look, if you find somebody faster than Maxey in the league, just go ahead and argue with somebody. Don't argue with me. Argue with someone.
It reminds me of a young John Wall, the way he moved up the court so fast. I remember how fast John Wall was in the beginning of his career.
One man fast break.
Yeah, you took the words right out of my mouth. One man fast break.
Yep. I mean, you can even look at Russ. Russ is quick on the draw too, coast to coast, right? So, but that move tonight on D'Lo on the sideline, are you kidding me?
Yeah, no shot.
Nobody would have stopped him. Nobody would have been able to stop him. That's crazy, man. That's enough to get you excited.
You have to get excited. I think you have no pulse if you can't get excited. And there's a major difference between being fast and explosive.
Right.
Russell Westbrook was explosive.
Right.
The one man fast break, John Wall and Maxey, they're fast, man. They're fast, and speed kills. Any sport. It doesn't even matter what sport you play. In any sport, if you're just humanly just off the charts, what is any other human going to do?
Exactly.
You're just humanly off the charts.
And controlled too. That's the thing too. He's controlled, right?
Can shoot it off any hand.
Control. Then we got this extra coach on the court, Harden. Harden is in his ear. You can see it. You can see him teaching him on certain things to come off the pick and roll a certain way. I want you in this corner. I want you to take it right to the hoop. Don't hesitate. Oh, my goodness. By the end of the season, his level of IQ is going to go up so high just being with Harden, teaching him as they go along for this last 20-something games. I can't wait, man. I can't wait.
Yeah, and we gotta take it, and we definitely can't go this whole show without taking the time to acknowledge the coaching staff. I mean, Sam Cassell has to coach these guards.
Yep.
And Doc got to keep all the structure together, because you bringing in you think about it, you got Isaiah Joe, Tyrese Maxey. Then you bring in James Harden, who they've been watching half their life. Those guys are 20 years old. They were like middle school watching James Harden. So it's a tough thing to balance out, and it's a tough thing to keep that cohesiveness and that chemistry all on the court at the same time. The other thing I loved is none of those guys got caught just watching Harden work. They were in position. That's coaching.
Yes.
That's coaching.
Yeah.
So, man, listen, shout out to Sam Cassell, Doc Rivers, and the whole coaching staff.
Listen, I agree. I agree, man.
We got a whole half of it. We have another half of this season to go. We are They played the song, bro. If they played the song. Now we know they didn't play the song in Minnesota, but in my mind, they played the song in Minnesota.
Yes.
What else? What's in Minnesota? What other song are they going to be able to play other than our song in Minnesota? Somebody
Exactly.
gotta look that up. I don't know what would they play him.
I don't know. They got that stupid skull chant for the Vikings, so who knows what they got out there
Maybe
for
a
the
Prince song.
Wolves, man. What, like Purple Rain?
I don't know, man.
They
Maybe
know
was
Raspberry
he
Beret.
from Minnesota?
Dude, I have no idea. I was a Prince guy, but I didn't know where he was from.
We need John on that. We need John.
Yeah,
on
John CD collection.
Yeah,
He probably knows. Vinny checking it says, haven't seen anybody that fast in Jigsaw on a pound leg. Yo, Vinny. Listen, yeah. Listen, man, I can't. I dropped like 40 lb, so I could probably play the pound league now. So we'll see, man. I'm getting there. I may be back on the court before you know it, but I might tear ACL, so we can't have that. I'm on the wrong side of 40, so we got to be careful. Chris, listen, Chris, ease up, man. Before we get out of here, please ease up. If Doc doesn't win a championship, is he out replacing?
Whoa, Chris, I'm down.
Talk to your boy, Al. Tell him to calm down.
I'm gonna
And that's from Jigsaw.
Yeah, you gotta
calm
relax.
down.
You gotta
I'm gonna
relax.
text you when we get off the show, man. You gotta calm down, man. Calm down, man. Jesus.
Yeah, we gotta calm down. We gotta calm down. But that's what we're gonna do.
And I have zero interest in
D'Antoni, I'm out.
D'Antoni, no.
Man.
No, and no some more. No, absolutely not. That dude.
Listen,
Does
there's
anybody know
a
what he's
reason.
even doing now? Like,
Yeah, I mean, listen, Harden, whether he was saying it because he was playing the good soldier or not, obviously he respects Doc. You could tell he wants to play for Doc.
right.
And when you have a superstar that's 30 plus years of age, who've been doing it for a long time and still can lay respect to a coach, that means you're doing something right. Whether you're a Doc fan or not, listen, there's a big thing no matter where your place of employment is. If you've done the job, if you played the game, people will respect you more from a guy that hasn't played or hasn't done the job. So Doc, blood, sweat, and tears, for the Atlanta Hawks for years. He did what he was supposed to do, worked his way up the ranks. So he's got the experience, he's got the respect. So that's one thing for damn sure.
And nobody made Harden say that. He didn't have to say those things at the press conference. He went out of his way to give Doc respect and said, I always want to play for him. So to even think about getting rid of him and you're saying that you just brought him here. He's been here a month. He hasn't even got a place to live yet. Stop. That's not even a thought process. Doc is going to be here and we're going to ride or die with what we got. And I know this is this year, but next year is going to be even better. I'm looking next year is going, oh my goodness, from training camp on, you want to add a couple pieces. Even next year is going to be even another one. But again, first things first. But let's not think.
Now all of a sudden, wait, hold on. You're allowed to talk about next year?
I'm just saying. I told you when we first made this trade, I know we're all in for this year. But imagine next year when you got everything the right way. You're going to make a little changes here and there, and now you're full bore, all chips, all everything next year. But this year, let's go see as far as we could get. Nothing is a disappointment unless we lose in the second round again. Nothing is a disappointment. You can't lose in the second round again. It got to be Eastern Conference Championship or chip. It got to be.
It's finals or bust, man.
Yeah,
finals or bust. Simple as that.
Facts. And we got to keep in mind how we started the show. I mean, we started the show tonight talking about is James Harden everything we thought he would be and more. This guy literally came here and he was everything we seen over his whole career and a little more. I've never seen the Sixers have this good of a half-court offense. Because we can talk about the fast break points and we can talk about the transition and dishing out, the steals, but their half-court offense was off the chart today. I mean, they came down, they got into position, and they got into a play early. They had every now and then, they got into a little trouble where if the one side of the court wasn't balanced, and then as soon as they balance out, then we see the passes swinging on the perimeter. We're putting up threes and we're hitting them. I mean, think about it. I mean, we shot over 48%, a little over 48% from three tonight. We had 30 assists. That's passing.
Yes.
That's passing, and that half court offense was amazing tonight. It was amazing.
It was.
And you have Joel Embiid, like
Hmm.
you have the most dominant big man in the league right now. You have Joel Embiid, and I don't care what nobody say. Give the man, just ship the MVP to him right now.
Yes.
Yes.
Just ship it to him. Not with the DeRozan thing.
Nah.
I don't think I've ever been in disagreement with Stephen A. Smith my entire life more than I have been this season.
This morning he went crazy. This morning he went
like, bro, what are you like? I love. Shout out to Stephen A. Smith. I love him. Listen. I love when he was right here in Philly, when he was with the Enquirer and all that. But I'm gonna tell you this. I don't know what he's talking about with this DeRozan thing. I know DeRozan is a really good player. He's playing really good in Chicago. But hands down, Joel Embiid is playing at a MVP level. And he's playing, and he's having the best season he's had since he's been a Sixer, been in the league. So stop with all the other comparisons.
Right.
Joel Embiid should be the MVP this year.
Right. Hands down. Listen,
he's
been doing it since. Well, he's been doing it since game one.
Yeah.
Right. And no disrespect to DeMar DeRozan, who was one of my favorite players in the NBA, whether it be Toronto, whether it be San Antonio. I don't understand why Pop couldn't use him the right way, but long story short, the last 10 games, he has been unbelievable. But Joel has been unbelievable for the first 40 plus games, right? Every single game where it was more. Joel didn't have Zach LaVine, right? Joel didn't have anybody else, right? It was all Joe. So again, I get arguments all the time, but my Win Daily boys, they love them some Joker. It's Joker. I'm sorry. At the end of the day, it's Joe. This is Joel's MVP to lose. He's already won it. It's his to lose. And
like
again, man, this is going to be a fun ride, boys.
They should have won it last year if he didn't get hurt. And missed so many games, you should have won it last year. So it's definitely you should win it this year. I want to hear anything. Give the man his props and give him what he deserves. And then let's go from there. But it's not even a question. Stop.
It's not my mind at all. Not my mind at all. So listen, we're going to get out of here. We appreciate everybody checking in. Vinny, Rich, Dan, Nick, everybody, Trevor from South Florida. As always, it was good to be back. Love it. Remember, give us a follow, hit that subscription button, hit that like button, follow us at Heat Ratio Sports, follow at Half Court Heat. Catch tomorrow morning, Fantasy Firebox with me and Pittsburgh John Coger. We're to talk about some Major League Baseball in the event that they come back very soon when it comes to fantasy baseball. And then Sunday night, check me out on Sirius from 9 to 11. Last week, we profiled wide receivers and tight ends. Sunday night, we're going to profile quarterbacks and running backs. So it should be a fun show, as always. So like we always say here on Half Court, everybody stay safe, stay healthy. We'll catch you the next post game, or maybe before that. I never know when we decide to pop in. So everybody have a great weekend, and we'll talk to you soon.